right. It's your average Joe's back again, bringing your fantasy thunder. You're listening to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding sons of guns, and we can't keep our gators down. Dave, can you keep Can you keep your gators down, Dave?
Hey, man, yeah, I love it. Woo, I love it.
Man, that's courtesy of Ric Flair. And if you don't know, if you're too young to know who Ric Flair is, jump on YouTube, check out. He was the man. This was the man back in the day, Dave.
Absolutely, and check out that walk, man. That's a money walk right
there. Oh, yeah. Got some walking around money and a beautiful woman on his arm, just like me and my wife. Give her a shout out on the show. Absolutely. Anyhow, thank you guys for coming back once again. As always, we appreciate everyone who listens and supports the podcast. Work really hard at it to bring you guys some great content. And again, just want to thank you guys for coming back, and thank everyone behind the scenes who gets the show out for us and spreads the word. Once again, we certainly do appreciate you guys. Do us a huge favor. It means the world to us. As usual, to like, subscribe, and leave comments. Be interactive with us. Please visit us on Facebook at the Average Joe's Fantasy Football Podcast, and you can catch us on Instagram, Average Joe's Fantasy Football _ between each word. We do answer questions there. We are there during the games, making comments, and we do answer questions and make comments here on YouTube. So again, thank you guys. Hit that like button. Speaking of being interactive, we had a winner of the question of the week a week ago. That was Mr. Damon, I think, Armitage. I haven't gotten the email from you yet, Damien, so please do send that out. We certainly want to get the chips to you. If you haven't been listening, we've been doing a little bit of a promotion here with the Hers Creamy Ranch Habanero chips. Just go back and listen. I can't recreate the excitement, but these chips are they're phenomenal. They're going to be your favorite chip. If you answer the question of the week correctly, we will send you out a bag of these chips, and you will become a fan instantaneously. Trust me. Anyhow, let's go ahead and do a new question of the week, Dave. Bring it out. This is a pretty good one.
Absolutely. So, in the last 2 years combined, this wide receiver has had 3 touchdowns total. This year, he's putting up wide receiver 1 numbers in PPR. Who is he?
All right, PPR, and that's top 12 PPR this year.
Right, yeah, top 12. So reiterate, in the last 2 years combined, this receiver has totaled 3 touchdowns, and he is currently putting up wide receiver 1 number in PPR, 12, so top 12.
Absolutely. Go ahead and answer that question here on YouTube. And once again, hopefully it'll be someone new this time, and we'll be sending you out a bag of these Creamy Ranch Habanero chips, absolutely free, of course, just for answering the question. Trust me, again, you will love those chips. So we got a big show here, Dave. As per usual, I keep saying we're going to try to do in under an hour. That never happens, so I'm going to stop lying to the people. Let's just say we'll be done in an hour and a half or less. The hour's out. The hour, it doesn't work. But an hour and 5 minutes, we'll try to keep you guys with us here. How about that?
I think that's very fair.
Yeah, that's a little better. All right, man. Let's real quick. How was your week, Dave? How's your fantasy week shaping up?
Oh man, well, in the leagues that I've been losing in, it's not looking any better. I'm already looking to next year. Those are my dynasty leagues, but yeah, do what you got to do. Sometimes I'm still out there trying to compete, but at the end of the day, at some point, you just got to look to next year. Yeah. But in some of my other bigger leagues, in my home league, rocking. I'm loving it. Doing really, really good. I'm about half and half on the 20, so not completely awful. What about you? How you looking?
Doing really good. About half and half as well. Doing really good in my dynasty leagues. Not so well in my redraft leagues. And in one of my leagues, I'm like just almost completely, totally out of it. Sort of like you. When you go 2-6 to start off, and you only got really 12 weeks during the regular season for fantasy, You got to run the table the rest of the way just to have a shot to maybe sneak in at 6-6. And in two of my leagues right now that I really care about, I am 2-6, and it's not so much I've been having bad weeks every week. Just you just seem to run up against some really good teams, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Especially this year with the scoring that some people are getting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes, man. But in the league, one of the dynasty leagues that you run, I'm 7-1 after this week, and I told you I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, man. I got my my chest puffed out, man, and I know those guys kind of hate me. They hate me in that league because every time I win, my name in that league, folks, is Thanos Doesn't Care. And basically, it started because, and I'll just real quick, I know we got to go through these segments, but we were in the off season. We drafted pretty early, and one of our league mates, something happened. Some news popped up about a player, and it was really a hot waiver wire ad real quick. And we were at a point in the season where we were just adding, dropping players with no, bidding, no waiver considerations, just whoever got there first. And he picked some guy up. I forgot who it was, and I was going after him too, but he got him first. And then he changed his name to, hey, this game is too easy. He said this game is too easy. He was feeling himself because he got this player. And you know what? Changing my name to Thanos Doesn't Care. I'm still going to smash you, and that's exactly what I've been doing. So anytime I win, I put up a GIF of Thanos doing something crazy, crushing whatever. I know they hate me, but that's okay. It's okay. I'm
actually happy you explained that because I've been wondering. I see it every week. I was like, why does he keep? I kept thinking, I was like, maybe because he's the most powerful. I was wondering, but now, okay, I got it now. I understand.
Yeah, but see, it gives your name then on the Sleeper app. It gives the subtitle of your name, like whatever you kind of nickname yourself. And my nickname is Thanos Doesn't Care. So yeah, anytime I win, you'll see something about Thanos up there, man.
Gotcha.
Anyway, man, let's go ahead. So we got a big show. We're gonna review some week 8 games, just a few of them. We're going to preview the Thursday night game. We're going to do some first half regrets that we have, some correct predictions that we, our gut feelings about some things that actually came to fruition, and also we're going to do a quick waiver wire. So let's go ahead and start with one of the bigger games of the week, man. Rams and Green Bay. The Rams offense just continues to get it done and impress. They didn't look so great in the first half of this game, but they really turned it on the second half. Gurley's a monster. What did you take away from this game?
Everything that we've already known. I mean, the Rams continue to, like you said, they continue to show week in and week out that they're contending for that Super Bowl. I mean, to beat Aaron Rodgers and in a close game that it was, and to still pull it out and find a way to get it done. Tremendous. One thing really stood out was that the Rams' defensive pressure is top notch. I knew the defense was good. I knew that Dominican Sue and them boys were real deal, but it's top notch. Keeping Aaron Rodgers. He didn't score a touchdown till 8 minutes and 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And that just shows that the Rams are doing something right, whether it's scheme, pressure, whatever it is. It's phenomenal. I did want to say this, that last week you brought up the fact about will Marquez, Scantling, Valdez, and St. Brown, will they still have a role? And when Randall Cobb and Allison got back, and I said, I think they might have a diminished role, but I think Randall Cobb will still get that back. And I want to give kudos to you. You were right, because
they were on the field.
Still came in and had it was St. Brown. Yeah, still came in and had targets. Yeah, I think he had about five targets, so he was tied with Scantling. Scantling had 5 targets. It was tied with Randall Cobb for second. So they're still in that offense.
Yeah. I mean, too. When you come in and you get those valuable reps when someone gets hurt and is out, you get to showcase what you can do. And sometimes, and I think they knew going in that Valdez, my MVS, God, had the skill. He can get it done. And they called him the next man up. And once you go out there and you start getting more familiar with game speed, real life experience, not practice experience with your starting quarterback, hey, he might be the future there. One of the people they're going to lean on in the future. And like I said before, they had been talking about possibly getting rid of Randall Cobb. So if you're going to make that transition, certainly you want to win now when Cobb's going to have his role, because once again, he does understand, what Aaron Rodgers wants. But if you're going to be making that transition next year, you got to continue to get this guy some reps. So, yeah, and I was going to actually ask your opinion about that. Allison, man, I think one catch on his return game here. I mean, he was one of the hot waiver wire ads of the season. Do you think, because Cobb got his, he didn't have a huge game, but like you said, he was tied second on the team for targets along with MVS. Is MVS and Equinus St. Brown's success going to come off the back of Allison here? Is he the odd man out?
It seems like that.
This is one game, but
Man, it's one game and it's against the Rams, but it's definitely something to look at, because what MVS and St. Brown bring that kind of differentiate themselves from Allison is the speed.
Okay.
Those guys are faster. Allison really just had, I think what I heard earlier was his route running was pretty good, and then obviously he already had the relationship with Aaron Rodgers, which puts you that much higher on the list. But like you said, they've been getting reps too. They've been seeing gameplay as well, and if they're adding that speed, and Aaron Rodgers is looking towards them and can get that trust, he might end up being the odd man out. But like you said, it's early to say, but it's definitely something to pay attention to.
Absolutely. So yeah, and also in this game, I know you were kind of patting yourself on the back, and that's absolutely fine because you did call it. You said that Aaron Rodgers was a sit for you, and I kind of said, who else are you going to sit? Todd Gurley? You're sitting, Rodgers, Gurley, AB. I mean, what's going on here? But no, he didn't have the best of days. And that, however, that may have come off the back of a so-called running game, if you want to call it that. Aaron Jones finally got a whopping 12 carries. And I say whopping because that's a lot for a Green Bay running back right now.
Absolutely.
Got 12 carries, averaged 7.2 yards per carry, got a TD. I think Williams got himself a goal line TD. And a lot of times, those are touchdowns for Aaron Rodgers. They'll do a bootleg or something like that and catch somebody in the end of the end zone, the edge of the end zone, or whatever. But now they hand the ball off a little bit. Do you think they continue to work Aaron Jones in and get him more involved? I mean, you cannot deny this man's talent. You give him the ball, and he is averaging well over 5 yards per carry.
Absolutely, and I as much as I would love to say, as much as I think both of us would love to say that Aaron Jones is going to be used more, we've seen it. Like we keep seeing they want to keep using Jamal Williams and they want to keep incorporating Ty Montgomery. I was looking at that when I was going over this. I was saying, is this murky backfield becoming a little more clear? And I can't say it yet. I'd still, obviously Aaron Jones is the guy in the backfield. If you're looking for someone in this offense to pick up, it's Aaron Jones, obviously. But yeah, it's still really tough to call. Even the fact that Jamal Williams got that red zone touchdown from like the 4 or whatever it was over Aaron Jones is that's enough to hold someone back itself.
Yeah, we'll kind of have to see how things progress. Aaron Jones came in, I think the first game off his suspension, had a good game, and folks kind of jumped right back. Well, not really jumped on the bandwagon because he already had a bandwagon, but it seemed legitimate, and then disappeared. They just didn't give him the work, and all of a sudden now he gets 12 carries, which is not a whole lot, but for him, someone's averaging 5 yards a carry, at least, that can turn into a decent game for him if they can up that to another 3 or 4. You may be talking about a solid RB2 here, but you have to watch it. You can't throw him back in your lineup. As a matter of fact, Aaron Jones last week, I didn't mention him because we didn't have the time, but he was on my I'm sitting him so you start him. And I didn't mention him. I decided to go with Keelan Cole over him. But he did come up with a touchdown and had a pretty good solid fantasy week. So let's continue to watch him. As far as the Rams are concerned, I mean, there's nothing else to talk about. Great offense. They're just tearing the league up. But Goff was sacked 5 times. Green Bay did get after him, and they were able to slow them down at the very least in the first half. Now, it's easy to say pressure somebody, and that's the way to get it done. But do you see that as, if there's a weakness, the weakness for the Rams?
That's something that I was actually talking to a buddy of mine about yesterday, and I was wondering if the Cooper Kupp situation is hurting Goff and making Goff hold on to the ball a little bit longer. And by that I mean Cooper Kupp seems to be the guy that's running the underneath routes and is getting open on the little drags or the slants and what have you, and making these catches. He's able to dump it because they already don't really use the tight ends much. So then you've got Brandon Cooks, you've got Robert Woods, 2 speedsters that are open up the field down low. Cooper Kupp's getting in there wide open, and so I think he was forced to hold the ball a tad bit longer because Green Bay's not by any means one of the elite defenses. So the fact that they were able to get to Jared Goff 5 times and sack him 5 times, and the Rams do have a pretty good offensive line. That's definitely something that you have to pay attention to. So I don't know if it's the Cooper Kupp situation or if Green Bay just played it really well. But if that continues to happen, especially going up against a better D line, it could be troublesome.
Yeah. I think that's probably the only way that you're going to be able to contend. I think teams are going to take this and really run with it. Not that it's going to work, but you're going to have to do something, because sitting back and watch Todd Gurley chew you up, and then sitting back in zone and watch Robert Woods find a hole in the zone and chew you up, and then watching when Cooper Kupp's come back. I mean, Reynolds, he's filling in admirably here. He's gotten 2 touchdowns in his last game, so Reynolds is doing just fine.
Definitely.
I don't know what you can do, but sitting back and waiting for them to operate their offense on you certainly isn't the way. So, yeah, bring 6 or 7 and see if you can get lucky. Absolutely. All right, man.
How bad do you think it must have been to say you lost in your league? Say you lost by, we'll go with 4 points, 4 or 5 points. How heartbreaking must it have been to watch Todd Gurley, who could have walked into the end zone, fall to the ground? It was a great, fantastic play for the team. Right. Obviously, get the game over with, end it. But to lose like that,
it was definitely strange, because they're up by 2 points. If you get the touchdown, you're likely up by 9. The game was likely over anyhow. There's only 20 to 15 seconds left. But no, that was definitely a team first play. Kudos to him. You don't see that a whole lot. Yeah. You can't be mad. He still got you 30 points. So you know what?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If he scores you 30 points, you need to look at somewhere else. You lost last week unless unless you went up against a crazy team, someone that put up 150 points or 200 points or something. Get the production from someplace else. If your running back gives you 30 points, they've done their job for the week.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. I don't know what to say to you about that. But anyhow, let's move on to the next game. Let's talk about the Ravens and Carolina. And I want to bring this up because Carolina's looking good on offense. Cam Newton is looking pretty good. He's been averaging 25 fantasy points per game here this season. And that's not out of the ordinary. We expect Cam to be a top 5 kind of a guy. What do you see for this offense going forward?
I wrote this down when I was going over. Cam is Superman, at least for this team. He is definitely living up to his name for these guys. The passing, the fantasy points are there. He's passing it well. No turnovers this past game against a great Ravens defense, who we did talk about last week. They were missed. They did have 4 or 5 corners out. I'm not sure if they ended up playing or not, but regardless, it's still a great defense. He led the team in rushing. I mean, he's just getting it done. If you could get another good quarterback and put Cam at receiver, I believe you might have to get it. Might have to do it. Yeah, the team's going to go as far as Cam Newton goes. I mean, and I don't want to take anything from the defense either. The Panthers' defense is definitely very good as well. But Cam just drives that team. I think he drives the offense. I think he sparks the defense as well and makes them play that much harder. I just love Cam Newton. I mean, if he wasn't already, which I think for most people he was, but I think he's got to be a must-start now.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless
you drafted him as a must-start in the top 6 rounds. You had,
right.
I mean, unless you really did a good job, we'll talk about the fader of maybe picking up a really good quarterback in the later rounds. That's surprising. You're likely not even questioning starting Cam. I have actually in a couple of leagues looked at. I have Cam and I picked up Andy Dalton, and Andy Dalton's had some of these good matchups here the last several weeks. You just kind of think, let me go ahead and go at Dalton. But in most situations, I think most people either have one quarterback or definitely don't have someone quite as good backing it up. Yeah, they're going to go as far as he goes. He's looking like he's going to be close to his MVP season form, man. He rushed 10 times last game. And if you remember back in that season, he was a running back and a quarterback. And he had a great game, rushing touchdown. I mean, to put that in perspective, CMC only rushed the ball 14 times. And he's the bell cow back in that game. And maybe that was the scheme of it all because Baltimore is such a tough defense to run on. They said, you know what, we're going to get Cam outside. We're going to do some of this run play option kind of stuff and see what we get. And they ended up getting a lot of out of Cam on the ground. I wanted to point out DJ Moore. Start off super slow, had super high expectations at the beginning of the season. He was one of the rookies you felt could come in and really take over his team. As a rookie, started real slow. People dropped him. But now it's coming around. It's like they're going to be using him a lot more. What do you think about DJ Moore?
I like him. That was one of the only things about this game that really jumped off the page for me. DJ Moore, 5 receptions for 90 yards.
Yeah.
Only missed one pass, and there's no telling if he dropped it or what have you. But he's being used, and we talked a couple weeks ago about the whole Devin Funchess situation with Greg Olsen coming back. We figured Devin Funchess would be used less, which is, last week he was still used pretty well, but this week we did kind of see that fall off, and we got to see an emergence of DJ Moore, which I think will continue as the week goes, or as the year goes forward. I don't think DJ Moore will be a matchup-based player. I think he will be continuously used throughout the offense in multiple ways. He had 2 rushes this game as well. So I think that they like his talent, and they're going to use him in a lot of different ways. So I think if you have the opportunity to take a chance on a guy, in Dynasty, he's definitely already taken.
Yeah.
But with these bye weeks coming up, if you're in redraft and you're looking for an option, a sneaky option, you can definitely take a peek at DJ Moore. Definitely.
Yeah, he's gone from basically zero to now possibly a fundamental part of the offense. I was looking 2 weeks prior. He got 5 targets, 4 receptions, 60 yards, and a rush. So they're thinking of different ways and creative ways to get the ball in his hands, which means they like what he's doing. So I think we're going to see more of the same. I don't know if it's going to be this kind of a game every game. You still have Devin Funchess, who I'm going to say is probably still the primary target there for Cam, big-bodied guy, but looks like they're going to have another weapon out there, which they certainly need. They definitely need. So I'm excited to see what happens with him. Olsen came through for you with another touchdown. That's 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games. Looks like he can and will be a viable fantasy option going forward. He was one of my sits of the week. I just didn't. I'm not comfortable with the injury history, and I'm also not comfortable with his role in offense. If you've seen some of the stats coming up about him over the last couple of years, he kind of comes and goes. He'll have a few decent games, then he may disappear for 4 or 5 games. But as long as he's getting these touchdowns in the red zone, I think you can go ahead and safely start him. Let me ask. So a guy like Wilson versus a Jordan Reed, who are you gonna go with? I mean, Olsen. Like, I'm sorry, Olsen versus like
Olsen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Olsen, and that's all. And for me, that's just because of the offense and what I think the targets, how I think the targets will go. From watching the Redskins, they use Vernon Davis too much for me. I actually have Jordan Reed on one of my teams, and I'm just like, why is Vernon Davis why is he ever in the game? I know Jordan Reed has injury history, but when he's healthy, he's great. And if he's on the field, use him. Like, I don't get it. So, yeah, I would have to lean toward Olsen. It's definitely not a performance-based or a talent-based thing. It's just how they're being used.
Okay. What about Olsen or Ingram? And Ingram he went five receptions last game, 25 yards, but he did get in the end zone on 9 targets.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I would have to go with Ingram for the upside. Like, they use him in so many different ways. He can line up.
But Eli Manning though.
Yeah, no, and that's the only reason it's close. That's the only reason.
That ruins the whole argument. But Eli Manning though.
That's why it was a tough decision for me, because obviously when you're thinking about Olsen or Ingram, it's Ingram, like duh. But then you're thinking, well, it's not, it's not just Manning or Cam. Yeah, it's like yeah, just volume alone makes me have to want to go with Ingram.
Okay.
But Eli just also makes me want to say no on all giant plays.
Yeah, with the exception of Saquon, right? The Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, with Baltimore, talk about those guys just a little bit here. This offense seems to be schizophrenic. I'm not quite sure what to take. One week, they're high flying, looking like, the LA Rams or something, and then the next week you don't quite know. Now, again, Carolina has a solid defense. I'm not taking anything away from them at all, but John Brown disappeared. Crabtree disappeared. Willie Snead was the most consistent at 5 receptions and 54 yards. And I've talked about him a couple of different times on some prior episodes where it seems like he's the safety blanket for Flacco, but it's 4 or 5 yards, it's 6, 7 yards, and we're not getting a whole lot out of it. I mean, 5 receptions for 54 yards is about 10 yards per, which isn't horrible, but he's not getting into the end zone at all. So he's also a very hard fantasy ask. I mean, what's going on with this offense, man? What do you think should be done to turn this around?
I wish I knew, because it's just exactly what you said. One week we get, at the beginning of the season we were getting this Joe Flacco that, this fire is lit up under him. He's back, and then he falls off, and then he comes back a little bit, then he goes back. It's hard to, it stinks to have to even try to guess with this offense. And then to your point, like you said, Carolina's a good defense. They forced 3 turnovers. Flacco had 2 picks, and Collins lost a fumble, and I think that really changed the game for him. But even without that, Flacco didn't have the best game passing anyway, as far as attempts and completions go. Didn't even have over 200 yards. It's rough. It was rough to look at, and when you're trying to get fantasy options out of this team, and you see the quarterback struggling, it's hard to gauge which receiver to even take a chance on.
Right.
It's hard. I wish.
I mean, you got to go Brown is your choice. I mean, if you're going to go with a receiver, Brown is your choice. But I have him in a couple of different teams, and last week he gave you 5.4 points. The week before, like 25 points. So you don't quite know what you're going to get out of this offense. One thing that just frustrates the mess out of me, and this is well documented through our our fantasy season here. I like Collins. Not quite as high on him as I was coming into the season, probably like a lot of other people, because I expected a whole lot more. But it's not really him. it's the volume they're giving him. I mean, he did get the majority of carries this week. I don't really blame the fumble on him too much. It looks like the defender was in the backfield as he was getting the ball, and he continued to get work after that. I mean, he far out snapped and out carried the other running backs. I mean, if we're going to get a schizophrenic Joe Flacco and a schizophrenic passing game, why not kind of go back to their roots or go back to how they were last season, where it was we're gonna run the ball, we're gonna be tough and physical. We have a really really good defense. If I'm not mistaken, maybe not after this week, but prior to this week, they were the number 1 or number 2 defense in the league, right?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Why not lean on that? And I mean, Collins, he has fumbling issues. That is his only problem. He runs hard. He averages over 4 points per yards per carry. He can actually catch the ball too. He doesn't have any issues in that arena. And then you got Buck Allen there. Why not slow this down and get your backs more involved?
And that would make the most sense, especially which like you said, you have a great defense. There is no need to rush. There's no need to hurry.
Right.
And I think it's what we talked about a couple of weeks ago when we were discussing the Alex Collins situation and why we don't think he's getting the volume. It looks like they're one of those teams that are just like, we got all these acquisitions. They feel pressured to use them with bringing in Willie Snead and Michael Crabtree and John Brown. I don't know if they have this pressure on them where they're like, well, we brought them in, we have to use them. I hope that's not the situation, because at the end of the day, you should be trying to win games. And,
right.
It's a smarter decision. If the passing game isn't working and Joe Flacco's not doing the best, then let's just run it and hit them over and over and over and over and over again. Let our defense
some teams can pass to set up the run. I think one of your prime examples of that would be a Kansas City. You can pass to set up. Some teams have to run to set up the pass, and that's more of probably leaning more towards like a Rams. And now these are optimal examples, obviously,
right?
But that's what you strive for. And if your passing is not getting it done, and then on top of that, it's not freeing up lanes for the running game, run the pass. Switch it up a little bit. I'm not saying go full tilt like Seattle, which is insane. I think Russell Wilson threw 17 passes last week. I mean, my mind is blown. He still got a bunch of touchdowns. We're going to talk about that. Probably not tonight, but we'll see how things work out the next game on this. I have him on one of my benches, and I'm kind of scared to play him with the lack of passing game and the lack of running yards he's getting this season. But
yeah,
Jesus, he's going to do 3 touchdowns on 10 passes every game. I mean, what do you do with that? But I mean, kind of go that way where, hey, we're going to commit to running this ball, and then when you bring 8 in the box, boom, we're going to hit you over the top.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see how things progress. Hopefully things will get better for Collins. I think, aside from the fumbling, he's a really good running back and can give us more. I guess we'll see. All right, let's move along here to the Colts and the Oakland Raiders. Now, we're actually going to skip over the Oakland Raiders. Not skipping them, but they're also in a Thursday night game. So we'll talk about them a little bit more. We'll talk about them in San Francisco. So let's focus on the Colts on this one here. 42 points, Luck 3 touchdowns, and right now, if I'm not mistaken, the number 3 quarterback in the league per the numbers from last week. He's come out. I don't know if he's showing that he's totally back from his injury, because I know there's some questions and concerns about his deep ball, but he's showing that he's made the adjustment, and he's doing just as good.
Yeah, looking great. My start of the week last week helped me look a little smarter. Yeah, I love it. Andrew Luck's looking great. Finding his targets. The one thing that is concerning for me is the fact that Jack Doyle is back.
Okay.
Not concerning as an Andrew Luck owner, but concerning as an Eric Ebron owner. You have to worry about it, just because throughout the years, yes, they've had 2 tight ends and they've used 2 tight ends, well, with Kobe Fleener and Dwayne Allen. I mean, it's happened, but Jack Doyle is Andrew Luck's guy. It doesn't matter. Jack Doyle can do no wrong in Luck's eyes. So I mean, the volume's going to go there. Eric Ebron, I think, was able to get a touchdown. Yeah, he was still able to get in the end zone, but he had 3 targets compared to Jack Doyle's 7, and it was Doyle's first game back and was automatically thrown in and getting used. Yeah, so that's just something that you have to. In no means am I saying sell high on Ebron or drop him. Nothing like that. Too early to even tell with that. But it is something to note, knowing the history with those two guys.
Yeah, I have it written down here, actually, but I have it coming from a different direction because let me take a step back here. I was going to talk about Ryan Grant a little bit, who you and I both were a little bit high on at the beginning of the season as a number 2 receiver in his offense. He has been not what we were hoping. We used the word underwhelming a lot. For the first several games, he gave you around 10 to 11 points, which is okay, I guess, if you need an emergency flex, but not developed into that target that we thought for Andrew Luck. In fact, you could probably say Chester Rogers has been a little bit better than him in certain instances. Obviously, as a receiving core, T.Y. Hilton is the man. He didn't have a great game, but still, that's the guy you want. My question is here, with seeing how things are developing and seeing how Andrew Luck's using more the middle of the field. It's not so much a stretch down the field kind of an offense anymore. Are the tight ends the most valuable receivers on the team now? T.Y. Hilton included.
That's actually an interesting take to look at. I'm glad you brought that up because all 3 tight ends got touchdowns this game. If I'm not mistaken, I think Ali Cox is a tight end as well. So that's
bro.
Exactly. Speaking of, real quick, and then I'll get to your point. I didn't even know Dontrell Inman was on the Colts.
Right.
I had no idea where he was in the NFL.
Right.
And he had not a tremendous game, but it was an eye-opening game if you didn't know he was on the team for him to get 6 receptions on 7 targets. But anyway, I think looking at that, if I have Jack Doyle or if I have Eric Ebron, I'm definitely holding tight and probably continuing to play them regardless.
Right.
I mean, I think those are going to be, if I don't have a T.Y. Hilton, because like you just said with Ryan Grant, Chester Rogers, the interesting thing about this game is neither one of them are on the box score for this game. Neither of them collected a catch at all. So I think Ryan Grant.
I think he was hurt. He was banged up. Yeah, I was going to say. I didn't think he played. Did he play?
Yeah, no, I think he's still with injuries, but Chester Rogers, he played, and just with that situation, I think you are right though. Even if Ryan Grant does come back, I think Eric Ebron, Jack Doyle, T.Y. Hilton are going to be the guys in the receiving core that you want to own for the Colts as far as receiving core goes.
Okay. Yeah. I feel more comfortable with both of those tight ends than I do with just about any other receiving options outside of T.Y. Hilton. I mean, I would still obviously roll him if, let's say, I had a flex spot and it was Doyle or T.Y. Hilton or Ebron T.Y. Hilton. I'm still going to give T.Y. Hilton the benefit of the doubt here, but only for another week or two. These tight ends are looking great, and it seems like they're dialed in with Andrew Luck every single week. Marlon Mack, what can you say about this man? I mean, he's making me out of a believer. I didn't think that he was going to come in and have such success. I kind of started to view him. He was getting in that Devontae Parker area for me. He was getting in that Leonard Fournette area for me, man. Was he going to come back and do something? And these 2 games alone, he may be top 10 the rest of the season if he stays healthy.
Oh, he definitely can do it. I was looking at his stats today. Last 2 games, including this one, 44 rushes, 258 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He has 381 rush yards on the season. That is more than Alex Collins, it's more than Derrick Henry, and more than Kenyon Drake, and he's only played 4 games. The guy he's their bell cow. They give him new attempt after attempt after attempt, which is great. and also it's like every time he touches the ball, and it's for the reason you just said. If he gets injured again, Marlon Mack is almost fool's gold. It's like I don't want to trade too much for him, but if I don't give enough for him, I'm not gonna get him.
Right.
But if I give too much for him and he gets hurt, I got gypped.
Yeah.
Yeah. It stinks. I
don't think you could probably get him right now, though. I don't. Think
No. If anybody is even looking to shop Marlon Mack right now, they are wanting the mother load for him, so it's not worth it to even try to get him. He's not on waivers. He shouldn't be. I think I saw today he's 85% owned, so he's not out there. But yeah, he's looking great for Indianapolis, and like you said, he'll continue to look great as long as he's healthy.
Absolutely. Nyheim Hines, can you flex him anymore? I think he had a couple of targets here in this game. I'm not sure if it's someone that you think that you can put in there and have a decent start out of. Is there room enough for both he and Nyheim Hines, or is Nyheim Hines now just simply an afterthought?
Yeah, I think.
He got 11 carries.
One thing. Yeah, he had 11 for 78. I will say one thing I'm doing in my league. I put in a waiver to get Marlon Mack. I didn't get him. The news came out that he was injured, and I said, okay, so the injury still bothered him. I swiftly went and picked up Nyheim Hines.
Okay.
Because the Marlon Mack owner, if Marlon Mack does get injured or can't play, we already know, we've seen it time and time again, that Hines is the next guy up. So for me, the value in Nyheim Hines is a handcuff, or if you have the room, if you're trying to block your opponent or something. But it's not. It wouldn't. For me, it's not a stash. Like I'm not stashing Nyheim Hines. It just so happened my opponent had Matt, so I'll probably drop Nyheim Hines after this week, and he can get him or whatever it needs to be. But yeah, at this point, I think Hines is just a handcuff. But I do believe he's probably the best handcuff there is because of the volume Marlon Mack is getting, as well as the injury history.
Yeah, and he probably has a little bit of trade value for the Mack owner as well, who probably has the same concerns as you. I'm not sure if you're going to get a whole lot, but you might be able to get a wide receiver 3 or maybe something like that, someone they just kind of sit on their bench and not use. So I would definitely be shopping Hines. Okay, all right, yeah, this offense.
You might be able to just. From what you were saying real quick, if DJ Moore is taken in one of your leagues and you're looking for a receiver, you might be able to flip a Nyheim Hines for a guy like DJ Moore before he blows up real big, especially if that guy is the Mac owner. That might be something that you look at.
Yeah, possibly. I'd be a lot more excited about DJ Moore as a staple of the offense. But I'm thinking along those lines though, maybe a Christian Kirk. Maybe a guy like Sutton, and they were talking about rookies here.
Right.
Yeah, I'll get ready to say Devontae Parker, probably not at the Parker's game. You may be able to get a couple of different guys out there. If someone's,
Anthony Miller. Miller's a good look, especially if Allen Robinson stays injured. That's going to be special.
Yeah, you might can possibly get a guy like if you want to take a shot at Hogan or something like that, maybe a Hogan. All right, man. Let's talk about this Thursday night game, if you can call this a game. This is going to be the worst rated game in history, probably.
Dude, we just after the Thursday game, we just had to watch the other day with I can't even remember who it was. Let me look.
Was it a Thursday night game?
Yeah, the Broncos and the Cardinals. It's gonna be worse than that.
Oakland and San Francisco right now. Oakland is 1-7. San Francisco is 1-6. I mean, they're playing for the first pick next year. Yeah, this is going to be a horrible rating. Now, when they probably set the schedule up, maybe I'm not sure if they flex time in and out or whatever, but they probably thought this was going to be an interesting matchup. You got, Shanahan, decent offense. You got John Gruden his first year, high expectations for him.
Jimmy G,
not there. Kenneth's not there. You got they just shipped off Amari Cooper. Beast Mode is hurt. I mean, they could just not have this game and nobody would miss it.
Yeah, the people who scheduled the game are just probably like, what? Are you serious?
Seriously. Yeah. And after last week with Oakland, I mean, you don't even have the people you want to possibly see and root for. I mean, Jordy Nelson disappeared. Martavius Bryant, that shouldn't have been, but that was the biggest shocker for me. Not one. I thought he was going to be the guy that kind of took the X receiver role. I thought he was going to take the Amari Cooper role, and at the very least stretch the field. And not one. I don't think he got a target, but not one reception. He didn't catch anything. I'm not sure if he got any targets.
Right. No, he didn't. He didn't. Yeah, I'm looking at it right. He had no targets. And the thing about it is he was on the field because I tuned in because I remember we were talking about it and you were trying to make a decision between Doug Martin and Martavis, and I said in my opinion I would go with Martavis because I was afraid of Jalen Richard. And so I was looking, I was like, I hope I gave some good advice. And I saw him on the field and just every play I was like, this guy's just not getting the ball.
Yeah.
Maybe
maybe we see now, and it's not we can't say it's a talent issue for everybody. Okay, we can't say that. So, we know Bryant is a talented receiver, 100%. We know he's a talented receiver, more talented than Amari Cooper, whatever. But if that particular guy, was he playing that X receiver role? Was he on the outside, left hash kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they just don't do on that offense with that kind of a receiver.
And I laugh, but you might be absolutely right because that's exactly where I saw him lined up. He was, I think the play I saw he was blocking, and Doug Martin had a pretty good run up the middle. But it might for whatever reason maybe there because I'm pretty sure Michael Crabtree was on the right hand side when he was there.
Yeah.
So you might be right. That might just be a thing. That's just their decoy guy over there.
I don't know. This game. I mean, I just don't know what to talk about in here. This game. Mostert did nothing. I thought he was going to have a surgence and possibly be someone to watch out for. He did nothing. Brieda had the majority of the carries, but he only averaged 2.3 yards per carry against the Cardinals. I don't know what to talk about here in this game.
Battle of the tight ends.
Yeah. Cook versus Kittle. Who do you have?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
If I had to pick somebody, it's so close. It's so close because especially after last game, I saw the 49ers use Kittle in kind of a Trey Burton role that they used with the Bears. I saw Kittle came out of the backfield and they kind of shuffle passes to him. He almost got in the end zone. And then Cook's going to have his volume, and it's so close.
Yeah, and Cook seems like maybe him and Richard. I think we call that. We had that one. We're going to be the primary beneficiaries of Amari Cooper leaving and Cook had. Now, Cook's been having a decent season regardless, so with or without Amari there, he's been doing well. But I think you can continue to see him get solid targets. Jalen Richard with eight receptions this game.
Yep.
So he and Doug Martin look like they can coexist. Doug Martin ran a lot better than.
Yeah.
That's probably the one takeaway from the offense from Oakland. He ran a lot better than I anticipated him running.
Absolutely. He impressed me so much. When the news came out, I didn't have any interest in Doug Martin at all.
Right.
And I'm not saying that I'm super stoked about him, but I am definitely excited to see how hard he's running. When you watch him, it goes deeper than when you're playing fantasy. It goes deeper than the statistics. You want to see your guy looking like he wants to be out there.
Like Frank Gore.
He wants to play.
Right. It works.
Yeah.
Frank Gore says it works. Yeah. I'm on the field, baby, just running hard. Kenyon Drake may be 10 times more talented, but I'm here. I look like I want it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, just to see him out there, that alone impressed me. I was like, okay, wow, this guy's balling. And I was actually impressed at the day that Derek Carr had. I did not expect with the first week back, and by no means, I think. Well, I know you said this time and time again, the Colts defense is not superb at all. But even with that, though, Derek Carr, 3 touchdowns, 244 yards, 21 for 28. He had a good game, and going against the 49ers Thursday, with a lot of teams on bye this week, and I was looking at a number of the matchups. You obviously have your obvious guys you're going to start. You're going to start your Newton, your Patrick Mahomes, your Matt Ryan and things of that nature. But when you don't have those guys, I think there's 6 or 7 guys that your normal starters. The rest of them are on bye weeks. Derek Carr might be a guy to look at.
I don't know.
Goes.
I mean, again, like you said, he played against the Colts defense. I don't know. I had Derek Carr in one of my leagues. I actually dropped him for Flacco, which neither one of them are doing anything. I might need to get the waiver wire again. There's not much out there, but yeah, I don't know. Derek Carr, we've seen flashes of this. I mean, he actually had a season, I believe, maybe 2 seasons ago, where you thought, here's the next really, really, really good quarterback.
Yeah.
And he's always kind of ended up being kind of a middling guy. We'll see how things, progress in this particular offense. I'm glad that I kept Doug Martin in even after I asked you. I think really the issue was by the time I asked you and kind of got my mind made up on it, it was too late. I was getting ready to switch him out, and Doug Martin was in there because they had started the game. I didn't realize it was so late. So glad I kept him in there. Helped me win the week with his
I'm glad you did too.
Yeah,
I did not want that. I didn't want that backlash from you.
Yeah. But I had to call you out. But good deal. Yeah. So we'll see what happens in this game. Whoever loses this game probably is going to be right up there with the Giants, Oakland, and San Francisco for the number 1 pick. Speaking of the Giants, real quickly, what do you think about them rolling Luetta, the backup quarterback? Do you think that's a move they should make?
I think, at this point, if you traded away arguably your best defensive player, definitely your best defensive lineman in Damon Harrison. You trade away Eli Apple. You look like you're starting over. If Lauletta is going to be, I don't think he'll be the future, but if it's going to be a guy that you're looking at going forward, you might as well get him out there and get reps. Manning isn't getting it done. You see the coach is frustrated with Manning on the sideline. Like, he's telling him, throw the ball.
Please throw the ball.
So, exactly. And Eli's already said he's not going to waive his no trade clause, so you can't trade him. Anything to get the team pumped. I think just bringing out a new quarterback will light a fire not only under the team, but I think your fans will get invested into the team, at least until he starts doing that.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're going to see a whole lot better out of it. I mean, you never know. You never know, but I mean,
right.
It's tough to call. I just wonder what your thought was on that. And it's time for Eli, unfortunately, to hang it up. Can he possibly go to a standout team? Let's say Eli, and we can't spend too much time on this. We're at an hour already. Golly, the time just shoots by. But let's say he goes to with a healthy Leonard Fournette, a Jacksonville Jaguars. Is he that kind of veteran, long tooth but experienced quarterback that can get them over the hump? I remember a number of years ago, it was Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think this may have been with John Gruden or what's the guy's name? I forgot the black guy, Tony Dungy. They won the Super Bowl. And they won the Super Bowl with, Brad Johnson, I believe. Kind of just a veteran, know how to get it done, not going to make a ton of mistakes. I mean, Eli's not making a ton of mistakes. You pointed out, in another episode that he's having an okay year. I mean, if you look at it statistically, it's just not enough to get the Giants where they need to go. Do you see him as being someone who can maybe be traded to a different team?
I don't think so. I think and of course we could dive into this if we really wanted to, but for time concerned, me personally, I think that Eli is done. I think it's past his time.
Right.
And I don't see it getting much better for him.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead, man. Let's jump to the next segment. We're going to talk about our regrets for the first half. We're going to talk about a few things that we got right, and then we'll hit the waivers. Let's run through them. If anything that sticks out, we have to have a whole lot of conversation about. Fine. I don't want to vex that. Let's definitely take our time and do what we have to do. But let's run through a few of these. I'll let you go ahead and knock out a couple. Go ahead for your regrets. first half?
A couple of my regrets we will be able to fly through because we talked about them in other episodes. Well, first regret is picking a player that's currently ranked as running back 11, and I picked him in the top 4, and that's David Johnson.
Okay.
It's one of my regrets. I think it's showing for itself. Not, like we said, it's not necessarily him as so much as it is the offense. He has been being a little more consistent lately, but definitely not doing the running back one numbers that you want.
Well, let me ask this question here. So with that pick, because when I have a regret, it's because, you know what, I had a mind to do something different, and I taught myself out of it. Did you have the mind to pick someone else at number 4, or was it?
I did.
Who was that?
I did. I picked David Johnson at number 3. Todd Gurley and Zeke went ahead of me.
Okay.
So then it was David Johnson, Le'Veon, all those guys. And I wanted to go with Kamara. And the reason I didn't go with Kamara is because I was like, Kamara at number 3. I hate that I did this. I said Kamara at number 3. Man, these guys are going to say some stuff about that. And then if if David Johnson does better than Kamara, I'm going to have to regret that. So, yeah, unfortunately, I overthought myself. So I regret not taking Kamara.
Okay.
But, yeah, and then also picking a guy that's currently ranked as wide receiver 43. I took him in round 3, and that was Larry Fitzgerald.
I thought I had Baldwin right. Yeah. But he had a good game last game, though, man. They said he
did.
Hurt.
Yeah, and what Byron Leftwich said before the new week started that his focus was to get Larry Fitzgerald more involved. And if last week is any foreshadowing of that, then Larry Fitzgerald maybe will do better moving forward. But
right.
I would have liked him to have started that way before I drafted him.
And you mentioned a couple of different Arizona players, and I watched the game. I was a little frustrated myself. I'm a David Johnson owner. We've talked about me trading for David Johnson, who's given me what I've needed to get through my weeks, because I wasn't getting anything out of Le'Veon Bell. And again, I don't think he's going. James Conner is just, man, I don't know. Can't talk about that. But he's looking good. He's really mitigating the need for Le'Veon Bell. I don't know what they do with him when they come back. This is going to be an interesting thing to watch. But anyhow, they got David Johnson the ball a little bit more in space. They got him out. This was screen passes, whatever. But it almost looked like his volume took a downtake. He got less opportunity, a little bit more quality, but it seemed like he didn't get a lot of touches. I'm not sure if I'm excited about this switch at this point in time. I mean, it's better than him running in the back of the offensive line every single doggone time, but it's not as if I don't know, is he not the centerpiece of the offense? I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this switch at this point. I guess we'll see after the next couple of games, but I wasn't excited about what I've seen out of the new offense either.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
Anyhow, all right. So a couple of mine. Adam Thielen, not taking him in more leagues. This is again why this is a regret, because I had the mind to go running back, Adam Thielen. That was my plan. I did it in one league. I did it in one league. I got Todd Gurley. This league I'm 7-1 in with you. Todd Gurley. I think I picked up. No. That league, because the running backs I wanted was gone, I went running back, wide receiver, and I ended up with A.J. Green and Adam Thielen as my top 2 wide receivers. But no, my mind was, if I have to go running back, Thielen would be my number 1, and I just did not stick to that plan when I was drafting. And obviously, Adam Thielen having the record-breaking season that he's having right now, that would have been a really, really, really solid plan. I wish I would have stuck with it.
I just want to. We have a Monday snipe.
Already
you sniped me on our new segment. You sniped me. I just want to tag along with that. Yeah, I didn't draft Adam Thielen in one. I didn't draft him anywhere. I looked over him quick too. I just I don't know. My regret was not believing in the hype. Luckily, I was able to trade for him. But yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. My second one was not again. I had the mind to do it. Targeting Andrew Luck in the 10th or 11th round. I said, you know what? If I don't get my guy early, like, because I was going after either Cam Newton or Russell Wilson. If they go too early, I'm just going to target Andrew Luck in the 11th round and then back him up maybe a round or two later with a guy like Alex Smith or something like that. I didn't do it anywhere. Didn't get any shares of Andrew Luck. And at first, the first half of a few games of the season, it looked like what I was doing was actually the smart thing. It didn't look like things were working out for Andrew Luck. But now, number 3 quarterback in the league. Yeah, man, I really wish I would have gotten a little bit more of, not a little bit, gotten some of Andrew Luck's season here. And you could have got him late, man. You can get a top 5 quarterback, after the 10th round. Man, I don't know.
And it was, you can't, on that one, it's hard to really blame yourself because it was just so many worries. Right. He wasn't throwing the ball downfield. He wasn't throwing an actual football yet. And we drafted so early.
Right.
So, I feel you on that one.
All right. I got 2 more real quick, and then I'll let you finish up. Not targeting more passing receivers in PPR. Passing receiving running backs in PPR. Guys like James White, TJ Yeldon, like Eckler. If Chris Thompson was more healthy, I think he would have been just fine. These guys have more points than guys like Collins, Miller, and Howard right now. So next year, I know to come around to that, and those would be guys that I target a little bit more in late rounds instead of, extending myself in the mid rounds, 7, 8, 9, to try to get one of these other running backs when I can wait to 11, 12, 13 and get a guy like, James White, who you may not be able to get there any longer after this year, but we'll see. Last one was Emmanuel Sanders in our trade. I really wish I would. Now I'm wondering, could I have pressed you on Jordan Matthews, first, second rounder, and then Shady McCoy and gotten Melvin Gordon? I think if I would have kept pressing that, because I kept adding pieces, but that was, we thought Jordan Matthews in the New England offense may have turned into something. I don't know. Right. I don't think I put that trade out there, and I wish I would have, because if I have Emmanuel Sanders on my team now, with that team I have, man, it would have been, whew.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'd have been probably undefeated. Yeah, probably been undefeated. All right, man, well, I'm done. What do you got?
Yeah, I just got one more. I'm kind of regretting waiting on tight ends. Okay. And the reason being, of course, you have a lot of good streamers. You have quality. You have quality tight ends, but this has been the one position that has the 2 or 3 guys that are going to stand out for you every week. Like they're going to get it done. And I was just under the impression of, take your Gronk, who, hasn't necessarily lived up to the hype quite yet. But take your Gronk, take your Kelsey, take your Ertz. And I'm going to wait. I'll pick up a guy later. I'll get my Trey Burton that I was really excited about. I'll get him later. And I had opportunities to get, I wrote down, I had opportunities to get Ertz and Kelsey. Some of my leagues, they were dropping around 3. And I passed over them. And, I passed over, and I kind of wish I would have grabbed one of those guys.
Yeah, I think that I did that as well. In one of our leagues that you and I are in together, I did go after Ertz, and I got him in round 3 in my Dynasty League, and I thought he was the best Dynasty tight end for the offense that he was in, and then, for his age, I really liked Ertz. Outside of that, I did pretty much the same thing. I waited to around 7 or 8, 9 to pick my tight end up. And I got Trey Burton, who's been up and down the okay season. I'm not really mad with the season. Or I've gotten Kyle Rudolph, who's he's been tailing off a little bit. And probably because at the expense of Thielen. Thielen's been so awesome. What do you do? Yeah, man. I don't know. Tight end's been such a mess, and it's kind of hard to call it. So you're probably in the boat with a lot of other people. If you didn't get lucky and pick up a Jared Cook or whatever, or maybe you could have gotten Jordan Reed a little bit later, you're probably sick with your tight end situation.
Yeah. I was able to benefit during Tampa Bay's bye week. One of the owners in one of my leagues dropped O.J. Howard,
Oh,
I was able to go scoop him. Yeah, I got lucky there.
Yeah. Good deal. Let's go over a few things that we got right. I'll start this off. I got 4 of them, so I'll run through my first 2, then my last 2 after you finish. Stayed away from Amari Cooper. There was still, again, some hype coming into the season about Amari Cooper. He was one of my ADP zeros. I just not a guy that I wanted, but my mind was starting to be changed about him a little bit as draft season took off, about Gruden and how his number one receiver always got over 1,000 yards and blah, blah, blah. And maybe this is just kind of an off year. And then if you look back for the first 2 years for Cooper, they were both over 1,000-yard seasons and all this great stuff. And at the end of the day, I still did a great job. I got no shares of Amari Cooper, and we'll see what happens with Dallas, but I stayed away from him. Also, I was right about Devontae Parker missing a bunch of games. I called him Pupless Parker. I don't care. He may come on the last part of the year, and it's never been a question of talent. So it's been a question of getting on the field and staying on the field long enough to produce, and he hasn't done that. So I did call he would miss a ton of games, and he had.
Absolutely. No, yes, definitely. Both of those, I avoided Amari Cooper as well. So definitely kudos to that. I think we're in a league together where there was a guy that drafted him. I don't know if you did. Yeah, I don't know if you gave him any talk about it, but I know a couple of us did, and he was defending that to his last breath.
Yeah, well, it was hard to tell because it was before the season, but he actually traded up because he wanted my pick. I was picking second in that round, and he wanted my pick, and I was like, no, I have a target. He's like, who are you targeting? I'm like, I'm not telling you who I'm targeting. So he traded up to get ahead of me because he thought I was going for Cooper. I was going for Thielen the whole time. I wasn't even thinking about Cooper, and he has to be sick. Oh, dude.
Gotta be. Yeah.
Anyhow, who do you have, man?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Dion Lewis. I said at the beginning of the year that I think Dion Lewis is the best back in Tennessee. I thought he was going to definitely provide more points in PPR, obviously, over Derrick Henry right now. Dion Lewis is an RB28. Derrick Henry is an RB56. It's not even close. Wow. So, of course, neither one of them are looking tremendous right now, but I'm happy that I took Dion Lewis, especially when the year started. Dion Lewis was doing great. Another thing that a lot of people were and I'm not just talking about you, but I had a couple people telling me, don't go that route. I'm happy I took Joe Mixon in round 2 in a lot of leagues that I did.
Yeah.
I had quite a few people were saying, Joe Mixon, don't believe the hype, this, that, and the third. And I was just listening to back and forth about he's going to get all these targets when he plays. He looks good. Then on the other hand, with Giovanni Bernard's there, I was like, nah, I'm going to take him. So I'm happy I went ahead and went with my gut there.
Absolutely. I got 2 more. I'm going to run through them real quickly because we got to get to it. I'm glad I stuck it out with Drake. He's coming on. He's not quite where we wanted him to be, but you can see a way forward and a path forward for him. I was drafting him in the 3rd, the 4th round, depending on how the draft went. And you draft him as the RB2, and he looks like if Adam Gase may be coming around to making sure he gets the ball. He's definitely doing what we were hoping these last few games. Also, I stayed away from all of the Dallas receivers.
Yes, absolutely.
During getting close to the end of the draft season, Allen Hurns was starting to go 6th, 7th round, thinking he was going to be the number 1 receiver there in Dallas. And, geez, I'm not even sure where he's ranked. I mean, it has to be outside of the top 50, right? I mean,
yeah, it's got to be.
So I don't even know, but yeah, that would have been one of the biggest. He has to be maybe one of the biggest busts. If you drafted him in the 7th round, 8th round, and he's giving you absolutely, I'm not sure if he's giving you a game to be proud of. So stay away from those guys. All right, you got anybody else you called?
Yeah, well, I don't. I'll do this one instead because I don't know how I feel about that one. But going back to the draft, I'm glad that I went ahead and took Golden Tate as a wide receiver too.
Yeah.
He's currently a wide receiver 16, and just going off of pure receptions. I'm happy I took him over some of the rookies that were going around the same time as him. Derrick Henry was going around the same time as him. So things like that. Yeah, just happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to go and take on Tate in one of my teams as well. Hasn't had the greatest couple of weeks, but overall, that's always who he is. He'll have a stretch of great games, stretch of hand games, and a stretch of great games. At the end of the year, he has 1,000 yards, and he's a top 20 wide receiver. So yeah, good deal. Let's run through this waiver wire, man. I'm not even going to talk about these people. I'm just going to list them off to you, list yours. We've been going for about an hour and 15 minutes now. Jack Doyle, if he was dropped in your lead because he was out for so long and people just couldn't be patient enough to wait, go ahead and pick him up. Devontae Booker, as long as Freeman is out, looks like he's going to have a role. They're not giving it all to Philip Lindsay. So pick up Devontae Booker as long as Freeman's out. He may be out for another week or two. You may be able to get a couple of weeks stream out of him. DJ Moore, we spoke about him already. Seth Roberts for Oakland. Somebody has to catch the ball there, and looks like Seth Roberts may be one of the other beneficiaries. He went from possibly being cut at the beginning of the season to perhaps the best wide receivers on the team. And last person, I hate to say it, and I'm actually going to target him in one of my leagues. Dante Moncrief. Last few games, 22 fantasy points, 14 fantasy points, 14 fantasy points, and 9 fantasy points. That's startable, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
No Keelan Cole is Dante Moncrief and Westbrook, but Westbrook, I'm not going to say widely owned, but he's more owned than Moncrief. You could probably go get Moncrief.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a very safe floor. Run through my guys. I saw Mohamed Sanu. He was only 59% owned. I don't know if it was because of the bye week or what, but if you can get him, I think it speaks for himself. Solid wide receiver, 2 numbers. Christian Kirk. I talked about it before. The connection with Rosen is there. He's 20% owned. He's got a bye next week, so if you want to stash him. But he's got the Chiefs, Oakland, and Chargers. Those are his next scheduled games on the schedule. So definitely some games he can do well on. Chris Herndon, tight end for the Jets, 5% owned. They got Miami this upcoming week. Like I said, with the teams on bye, if you're looking for a tight end, Miami has given up 4 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks to the tight end position. So definitely somewhere you can hit them.
Absolutely. Well, folks, we want to thank you so much for sticking with us this evening. Went a little bit long, went 1 minute over where we were thinking, but we'll try to get it down to an hour these upcoming weeks. But again, we're not like other shows, just running through things to run through them. We want to give you real analysis. If we haven't thought about something, we're going to tell you. That way you know what we're thinking, and hopefully it'll help your fantasy team. Thought of the day, as always, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Dave, do you have anything else for the people before we get out of here?
Enjoy your week and enjoy your football.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
We're signing off. Have a good night.